Hey y'all, it's Casey. So glad y'all could pop in and join me real quick for my new little project that I'm so excited about. It's called Something to Talk About. Now, growing up in the South, there was always a circle of people who were more than willing to hear any little news that you had. Y'all usually call it gossip, and we call it the news, but it's okay. So I'm taking the way that we receive news in the South when I was growing up, and I'm twisting it up and I'm making it positive, and I'm bringing it to you. So once a week, usually on Friday, I'm going to invite y'all into my office right here, and we're going to talk about good things. What we're not going to talk about is we're not going to talk about the he said she said stuff that's floating around on Facebook and what have you. We're also not going to talk about religion, and we're not going to talk about politics whatsoever. You're also probably never going to hear me be politically correct about anything, because that's just not how I'm made. Now, I want to be able to convey to you several things that perhaps are going on in my life. The big things are any new books that I've got coming out, or any projects that I'm working on, or any I can talk. See, my hands are moving. I can talk. That's another thing is you'll find about me is that I do this a lot. And my husband, God love him, he says, Casey, he says, if you had to sit on your hands, sometimes there's no way you could communicate. But I'm going to prove him wrong. I'm going to prove that lovely man wrong. Here we go. Sitting on my hands. There we go. Now, I'm going to talk about some books that I've enjoyed this week and in the coming weeks. Answer any questions that y'all have. So I'm going to give you the information about how to get a hold of me and such. And we're going to talk about any new artists. Good Lord. We're going to talk about any new authors that are out there that perhaps need a little help. We've all been there. Don't think that we haven't. We're also going to, or I'm going to, invite you to cuddle up and put your feet up and get comfortable with whatever you got to drink. I will always have my drink right beside me. I encourage you to bring whether it's the what I'm having, or Jameson's or sweet tea or whatever it is. You do you. Isn't that what they say? You do you. What you're not going to hear is a bunch of negativity here. There's enough of it in the world, and I just can't. So buckle in and let's get started, okay? All right. So what did I read this week? Well, let me start with some honesty, because that's real important to me. Is this week I actually started a total of 5 different books, and 4 of them I put back because they weren't for me. Now, the one that I'm not going to tell you what the 4 that I flounced on, because as I just said, we're not doing that negativity business, and so I'm not trashing not nobody up on in here. But the one that I found that I really enjoyed and I finished in a matter of days, even though my editor was sending me my manuscript with all the red pen business on it. God, I love that woman. No, she makes it all good. I love my girl. I don't know what I'd do without her, Miss Elizabeth. But anyway, so the book that I read this week was Firefly Hollow, and this is my Kindle, and I have one, just like authors are readers too. Don't think that we're not. But Firefly Hollow by T.L. Haddocks. I hope I'm saying your name correctly, and if I'm not, then send me a little message with some phonics in it. That's how I learned how to read and write when I was growing up. But Firefly Hollow is a paranormal. Now stop. Those of you who say, I don't like paranormals. Okay, but hear me out here. First and foremost, I'm not a hugely fan of them, and when I say that, don't y'all but get no pitchforks out there, because that's not how we roll. Remember that not everyone on the planet likes vanilla ice cream, and just because you say you don't, you still got to take a bite to be able to say that you don't like vanilla ice cream. So those 4 books that I talked about that I didn't care for, I took a bite. I took a bite. It might have been 1 or 2 bites, and I took them, and I didn't care for it. And that's okay. And again, I'm not saying what they were. Don't ask. Don't send me an email and say, oh, you can tell me, because I ain't doing it. I'm not telling anybody. But anyway, Firefly Hollow is, the part that I liked about it the most is it was not one of those books that boy meets girl, fall in love, and he does something stupid, and she goes off and cries in her pillow, and then they get back together because he, does something heroic or whatever. I'm not a big fan of those. I don't write that way. I don't write pillow crying. I haven't cried in my pillow since I was 3, I'm pretty sure. And so I like strong women, and I write about strong women, and I like to read about strong women. And Little Miss Sarah, who's the lead character, I'm not going to tell you anything you can't read on the little blurb on the Kindle. She starts out with she learns some news that perhaps she hears a conversation that she was not meant to hear, and sometimes that's a good thing, to hear people's character when they're when they think you're not paying attention, to know what they really think. But anyway, that's what happens in the beginning. And again, I'm not giving anything away that you can't get on the Kindle, but she really grows into herself, and she finds out who she really is. And of course, there's a man. There's always a man, and you find out some interesting things about him. And again, paranormal. If you're not a subscriber to Paranormal, it's okay. Please give it a try. It's a really, really sweet book. The main focus is not on the paranormal part, and that's probably 25% of the book. Maybe that's why I really liked it, is because it wasn't all just paranormal. But that's my recommendation for this week. You're going to see, I will give you credits. I will give you a link to the Amazon page where you can pick it up for yourself, put it on your to-be list. And at the time of this taping, it was free. Now, authors can choose not to have their books free anytime that they want to. But at the time that I'm putting this on the web, the book was free. All right, so I want to talk about the number one question that I get asked, whether I'm at the grocery store or at a book signing or wherever. Miss Casey, how in the world do you pronounce your last name? And it is a toughie. I will tell you that it is not Italian, so it is not Papanay. I do get that quite a lot. I can always tell when a telemarketer is calling, because they'll say, Mrs. Papanay. What are you selling me, love? Because I probably don't want it. It is Paponia. Okay, maybe my editing person can put a little phonics there, because that's how I learned to read and write, was the phonics. So maybe we can do that. I don't know. If not, just edit that part out. It'll be fine. But my father-in-law is off the boat Romanian. My mother-in-law is off the boat Greek, and so I have the best married into family. I know people say that about theirs, but I really do. This little old southern girl who grew up, and I won't tell you my maiden name because I don't, it don't matter. But I grew up and I met this wonderful, wonderful man and married him and took on that name and took on the heritage that of his family, and I have loved every minute of it, and they are a great bunch of people. But that is the number one question that I get asked at every single turn. So again, Paponia. All right. So what do you want to know? What would you like to ask me? And trust me, if I don't feel comfortable answering your question, then I just won't. And there won't be any hard feelings or none of that business, nothing like that. If you want to know what my office looks like, okay? If you want to know where my inspirations come, any of that, anything you want to know about me, or how my work comes together, or any of that, or if you have a question about, maybe you're a new author and you have a question, something like that, nothing is too stupid, nothing is too crazy. Other people are going to have these questions, and the only stupid question rather is one that's not asked. So ask away. That's another reason why I want to do this. All right. So what's coming down the pipeline? Well, I'm very excited to say that I have a brand new project going on, and it is a trilogy. Um, the trilogy itself is Southern Justice, and it is 3 books, of course. Duh, what's a trilogy? 3 books, sorry, I'm not telling you anything you don't know. But the first book is Absolute Power. And in Absolute Power, I bring to you Dylan Morgan. Now, I am stepping out of my comfort level by leaps and bounds. I don't normally write from a male point of view. I've never been a male, so I don't know how to verbalize how men are. I've always been a girl, always, forever, ever, and I have no plans of changing. And um, so Dylan, when I first started, I was really nervous, thinking there's no way that I'm going to be able to talk like a boy. And what I learned is my female characters that I have, although they're strong, they also have a way of apologizing for things that come out of their mouth. And Dylan doesn't apologize for anything. And it's so refreshing to not have to feel bad about dropping F-bombs or about feeling the way he does about women and relationships and the like. And it's really, really refreshing to be able to write that way. And so maybe I'm on to something. I don't know. We'll see. But the first book again is Absolute Power. I introduce you to the oldest brother. It's 3 books again, duh. And Dylan is the first one. We're not going to go into the second and third ones. You know, we're gonna let you digest the first one. And release date. Good question. My goal is Cyber Monday. Will that happen? Don't know. I wish I could let y'all see, and those authors who are viewing this, you know, it's not just you that has a role in this. There are many roles when it comes to getting a book out there, and I wish it was me, because then I would just be able to, you know, zoom and it'd be done. But that's not how it happens. There are many people involved, many behind the scenes. It's almost like a movie almost. So, but you'll get updated on that. We're going to do a cover reveal very soon. You'll see it here first. So again, I do invite you to come back and visit with me. And so, yeah. I talked about what I read this week. So now let's talk about some books that were released this week, and let me give a little shout out to those authors and help my sister authors. First one, which I was very blessed and honored to have her let me come over and crash her party, so to speak, was Miss J.A. Hensley, and it was her latest book, Stronger with Her. Now, if you can see up there, you can see that I have her first one, Stronger with Him. I am going to leave the links in the description and also on my page once this makes it live, and that way you guys can go and obtain those. And I'll do that with Firefly Hollow too, because again, I gave it to my editor. I gave that recommendation to my editor, and she was like, "Oh, girl, yes, it's so good. I'm telling you, it's good." Second one is Miss Renee Adams, and she has a brand new book out, Behind the Gate. And I'm going to leave links, because I want you to see these girls. You as my readers deserve to know about new books that are out there. Now, my author friends, if you have something coming out, please let's help each other out, and let's share these things. And please let me know, send me links, whatever you need to do, whatever, you know, buy links, anything at all, and let me please share that with you, and you know, do a little pay it forward. That's my pay it forward part is, and I strongly believe that some people call it that. I call it karma, and I keep that crazy girl happy, very happy. So, again, I need from you for next week. I need, and you can hear my little furry babies out there. They're you know, they keep my world going. Let me just tell you, I need an email from you. Email. Hopefully, my editing person is putting that there for you. Otherwise, it look pretty stupid, but that's all right. It is what it is. Follow me on Twitter. Every single day on Twitter, I put an inspirational message. I'm all about inspiration. As you can see, I'm all about inspiration. I have sayings all over my office. If you come to one of my book signings, you're going to see an inspirational message on my table. In my trilogy, I'm putting an inspirational message on each single chapter. I know a lot of authors do that. But again, my goal in this is to bring a little positive into a negative world. Maybe if we get enough positive, it won't be quite so crappy. Follow me on Twitter every day. Every day I have something inspirational. Sometimes I write it. Sometimes it's something that I've read and it struck a chord for me. And if it strikes one for me, there's a chance it's going to strike at least one other person. So every day when I get up at 5:30, yes, you heard that right, 5:30, I do a little Twitter. My and if you're not a Twitter person, and that's okay, because I put the exact same thing on my Facebook author page, and I'll put, all those links are going to get there. So don't sit there with your pen thinking, oh my god, no, 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 no. We're going to use links, and we're going to do this. So next week, who knows what we're going to talk about? But it's going to be something, and it's going to be good. And hopefully I'm able to read a book that my editor doesn't kill any more chapters. God, again, I love that woman. If I say it enough, I believe it, right? No, I'm totally kidding. Miss Elizabeth is a good enough person that she knows that as she's watching this, that she's, laughing at me, because that's what it is. I want you to laugh at me. I want to be laughed at, because humor really does cure everything, I believe. And again, if we can get a little more positive in this world. All right, guys, I have bored you enough. I'm going to do it again next week. All right, y'all, take care and be nice to each other.